Styx, Master of Shadows. This stealth of three persons, which bears little resemblance to most games of the genre, especially among released recently. Rather, it is such a hodgepodge of the most successful ideas of the genre, which together look very organic and, more importantly, work. Styx runs, jumps, climbs on the walls, clinging to ledges, and special tongue size allows him to crawl under tables and into the sewer without being seen. Mission represent a chain of several huge, really huge maps. They are ambitious, worked, layered. There are always many possible paths to the goal, involving a different passage. Some cards on the story will be repeated, but do not assume that they will take boring and monotonous, will not work, likely to go back the same way, which went ahead. Any fan of the genre would have to spend their 15 hours on this game, Black Desert. Role-playing online game with a huge seamless world, focused on hurricane action and populated stylish characters with unique appearance. You are waiting for endless adventure and lots of fun activities, trade, creation of objects, interior arrangement of houses, and the epic siege of war elephants, cannons and siege ladders that require coordinated teamwork. According to the developers, Black Desert World is about 2 times more than the world of Warcraft. In the game there is no maximum character level. After level 50, character receives special glasses, skill awakening points. These points are necessary to skill awakening of the system, which allows you to enhance and modify skills with the new parameters. It also has a unique character generator, which has the ability to fine-tune every element of the body. All this, with cutting-edge graphics, magnificent scenery and dynamic weather, F.E.A.R. 3. This is the third part of the game story, which continues the story of the original game. Players once again waiting for a dead girl Alma and her genetically improved sons, as well as the next worldwide conspiracy, madness, and most of the characters. For the first time in the series, attempts to explain the motivation of Alma, which constantly sends to the protagonist hallucinations and monsters. The game returned to the original antagonist Paxton Vettel, as well as the protagonist of the second part. On the gameplay front of the player's again first-person shooter, which still has time dilation and the AI, which responds to all the threats the most adequate way. The developers added the game even more robots, mutants and hellish speeds in battle. Besides all this, the authors suggest the players and co-op for 2. The first participant will Paxton Vettel, and the second Playpoint Man, the protagonist of the second part. All this takes place in a crumbling city and hallucinations that sends Alma, alien isolation. The ambitious project, based not on a dashing fighter James Cameron, and measured the horror Ridley Scott, got into the right hands. In a game where it is necessary to think more and wait than to act, thorough approach, the creative assembly has shown its best side. The story of Ripley Jr. carries no joke. Looking for information about the fate of the ship Nostromo, engineer Amanda Ripley, along with a team of specialists from the Weyland-Yutani, arrives at the decommissioned space Sevastopol station. The group meets the darkness, destruction and dead bodies, and a few survivors tell of horror no-way grafted nightmarish creatures. And very soon the girl will have to repeat the feat of his mother and face to face with a bloodthirsty monster, driven by instinct alone. Murder, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. Role-playing game with an open world that unfolds in a wonderful magical kingdom. Amalur, invented the famous writer Robert Salvatore. Kingdoms of Amalur is a dynamic battle in the third person, the study of the game world, a serious system of creation and development of character and action story. In the unfolding of detailed fantasy universe, adventure begins with the main character of his miraculous resurrection. It turns out that he owns the incomprehensible and extremely dangerous magic that can change once and for all Amalur. Caught in the middle of a fierce confrontation of several races, factions and alliances, he must uncover the secret of his immortality and put an end to the ancient evil that threatens the world. Road Redemption. The spiritual successor to the series' arcade racing motorcycles Road Rash. During the race, the players must not only reach the finish line first, and do it beautifully, sorting out along the way with opponents using various weapons. Campaign Road Redemption tells the story conditionally freed criminals, who spent 8 years in federal prison. For a start, you have to enter the old motorcycle club and do everything possible to eventually become the head of his own gang of motorbike racing. You get access to the world map with a variety of missions, shops and shelter your gang. For earned money you can buy new weapons, helmets, body armor, and, of course, new motorcycles, which can also be tuned. Nyko, Through the Dream. Nyko, Through the Dream. This is the story of a girl named Niko. Traveling in his dreams, she tells us about her events occurred. Our task is to help Niko overcome all the dangers and obstacles in order to reach their goal. The game is presented in a minimalist world with lots of mysteries, puzzles, adventure. The player will go through the most important memories that rise from the ocean of her memory. Maps, mazes, sunny sky and an infinite number of light colors. Also in each level is presented to us its charming atmosphere and the corresponding music. The game does not require a lot of words. Then just need to play. The Settlers 7. This long-awaited continuation of the famous The Settlers series, almost every player. New game carries a lot of pleasant surprises, but the developer managed to keep it all the best that was the place to be in the earlier parts. Due to the state of the updated system, you can easily combine trade, military expansion and the influence of the clergy. This allows you to develop your own style of governance. The player will now be able to fully enjoy all the difficulties that are experiencing powers. He will manage the army, trade relations, the construction of cities and the expansion of the influence of the state. Metal Gear Rising. In the role of Raiden, cybernetic ninja, you will face many trials, and finally find out what happened after MGS4 events. In the near future, cybernetic technology has become an integral part of the world. 3 years after the collapse of the regime of the Patriots for a long time to control the whole world, the situation on the planet heated up to the limit. Power is concentrated in the hands of those who owned the technology. The majority of private military companies previously controlled by the Patriots turned into crime syndicates.
だが自然の成り行きとして貴様の任務はここで消える。貴様の命と共にな。
Sleeping Dogs. This entertaining game created in the best traditions of Hong Kong militants. In the role of Wai-Shin officer you have to survive a real fight for survival. Use all of the elements of the environment to the impressive selection of weapons. Float deadly techniques of martial arts. Hone your driving skills in illegal races on the avenues of the metropolis. However, you are expected not only rapid action, and rest in the best gaming clubs and eateries of the city.